If you own the $180 Superstrike and are still using the default settings, you are seriously missing out. In this video, I'll show you the exact physical tweaks to make first, then walk you through every setting you need to lower input delay, improve click responsiveness, and get the most out of this mouse in any competitive game. Starting off, let's make sure you've actually set up the mouse correctly. When you flip it over, you'll see that it comes pre-installed with a standard puck, but what most people don't realize is that this is not your only option. Having the choice of these two pucks gives you two different glide feels to choose from. If you choose a skate puck, expect a slightly slower, more controlled glide across your pad, whereas if you choose the default puck, expect a lighter, faster glide. I recommend you try both out and go with whichever feels best on your mouse pad, or alternatively, you could do what I do and completely remove the puck altogether, which also shaves off a little bit of weight from the mouse itself. While we're still looking at the back of the mouse, you may have also noticed that the skates look a little different to the Superlight 2. This is because Logitech have changed the material from PTFE to UPE this time round, and this is done purposely to perform better on glass mouse pads, which are becoming more and more popular. So depending on what mousepad you're using, the glide of your Superstrike may feel a little bit off out of the box. It certainly did for myself on a cheap cloth mousepad from Amazon. If that's also the same case for you, I recommend getting aftermarket skates, as they're a cheap and easy way to fix this issue. I'll link a few good ones below for you. Oh, and great news is any Superlight 2 skate fits the Superstrike perfectly. Flipping the mouse back over, you may have also noticed in the box that it comes with optional grip tape, which you can apply to certain areas of the mouse to obviously give you better grip. This can be a great option if you are prone to having sweaty hands while gaming, or you just prefer more surface contact. That said, the included tape is on the thinner side, so if you really do need a stronger grip, I highly recommend just getting an aftermarket grip tape, as they do tend to be a much higher quality rubber. Or alternatively, you can just skip the grip tape entirely. That's completely fine, and it's actually what most people tend to do. When plugging in this mouse, a mistake I see from a lot of people is plugging the little dongle directly into the PC without thinking about proper placement. This is the incorrect way to do it and will add input latency. Instead, you want to keep that dongle inside the extender and then position the extender on your desk as close to the mouse as possible. I found the best placement to be right in front of your mouse facing it. As long as it's within 20 centimeters of range, you will have the strongest possible wireless connection and in turn the lowest possible latency. Just please, whatever you do, keep it away from any sources of interference like a Wi-Fi router. Now that we've sorted the physical side of the mouse, let's move over to the software side. The Superstrike will require you to use the Logitech G Hub software to configure it properly, so I'll leave a download link in the description below. G Hub, by the way, is essentially the control center for the mouse where you can access all the new settings and configure it perfectly. Once it is installed though, before you do touch anything, go to the top right corner in the settings and make sure you are on the latest version possible under check firmware updates. From there, in general settings, these are personal preference, but I like to turn off launch on login because once your settings are saved on the mouse, you do not need G Hub running at all. I also make sure automatically disable lighting is on to save battery, and I turn off system notifications so I don't get anything popping up while mid-game. Then if we go back to devices where you will see your mouse, before you do click into it to get to the settings, you want to hover over that battery icon and make sure your battery is above 30% before you do any gaming. After that, you can click into the mouse, which will reveal all the settings. I firstly recommend that you make a custom preset first, as it just keeps everything clean. Once you've done that, the first thing you'll see is the mouse DPI settings. Now this is mostly personal preference, but if you do care about precise cursor movement, the following simulation on screen should help you decide if a high DPI is worth it or not. In my opinion, it is worth it, and I've said that for years. Like, just from this simulation alone, you can clearly see how a lower DPI causes your crosshair to skip over pixels rather than land precisely. That being said, a lot of people do run 800 DPI out of habit, but 1600 1500 DPI is a better choice for accuracy. Just do keep in mind, if you do want to increase your DPI, it will make everything feel faster. Also, to make your aim feel exactly the same, you need to lower your in-game sensitivity by the same ratio. This keeps your effective sensitivity, or ADPI, identical. Next to DPI though, you will see the wireless report rate. This is how often your mouse sends data to your PC. I recommend using at least 1000 Hz, or maybe max using 2000 Hz. I've seen a lot of people use 2K. However, I do not recommend you go anything higher like 4000 or 8000. Reason 1, it'll drain your battery significantly faster, and reason 2, you could get CPU usage spikes or even micro stutters on games that don't support these pollen rates on their engine. There's a reason why most pro gamers stick to just 1000 Hz. It's the most stable and consistent pollen rate. Just below that though, you will see the hero sensor calibration. This is only useful if you are switching from another mouse and want the Superstrike to feel identical to it. If that applies to you, you could try out this setting, but in my opinion, it's pretty useless. I recommend just changing to the mouse and using your same DPI as the old mouse and not changing it. Then at the bottom, you will find the Windows mouse settings. Inside here, go to pointer options and make sure that enhanced pointer precision is unchecked. This is mouse acceleration, and even though most games use raw input, I think it's always a good practice to disable this setting just in case. While still in this menu, you will see an advanced button that you can tick, and this will reveal the lift off distance setting. What this does is control how high you can lift the mouse before it stops tracking. I leave mine on medium, the default, because low can be too sensitive if you like to lift your mouse a lot to reposition, and I found high to do the complete opposite, so overall medium is the safest choice for most players, and that's probably why it's the default option. Moving on to hits configuration. This is their new haptic inductive trigger system that you probably bought this mouse for. It's actually made up of 3 separate settings, and we're going to start off with number 1, click haptics. Out the box, it does start on level 0, or rather when it's turned off, and this means there is 0 tactile feedback or even sound when you do click the mouse. The first thing you want to do when getting this mouse is increase that haptic strength, so you can both physically feel and slightly hear that click sound. The higher you set this strength, obviously the stronger the tactile feedback will be. I recommend anywhere between 1 and 3. Avoid 4 and 5, as the stronger haptics will drain your battery faster. Personally, I started on level 3 because it felt closest to my super light, but after a couple of days I dropped it to 2, and I'm slowly working it down to 1. As for the right click haptics, you can match this to the left click, or you can have it completely independent if that's your personal preference. I personally like to match both of my click haptics as it feels more consistent. Next up is the actuation point. This controls how far you press before the click registers. The lower you go, the less travel is required, meaning technically faster clicks. For the left click, I recommend you start between level 3 or maybe 2 and then work your way down gradually as you get more comfortable. You'll find that if you go low too fast, it'll cause a lot of accidental shots, so just take your time and work your way down like I am. I was on 3 at first, I'm now on 2, and I'm aiming to be at 1 very soon. As for the right click, I recommend actually keeping this higher than your left click. I would say 3 is great for most people. If you do have this too low, even with an accidental graze, it'll trigger the right click, and in games like CSGO 2, this can mean accidentally throwing utility. Again though, it's personal preference. If that doesn't apply to you, feel free to match them. Next is rapid trigger. This controls how quickly the button can re-register after a click. Instead of fully releasing, the moment it starts moving back up, it's ready to fire again, and this will allow you to click significantly faster than a normal mouse. If that feature sounds useful in any game you play, then you should turn it on and probably set it to the fastest one, which is level 1, to get that fast re-registration, aka the fastest clicks possible. But in my opinion, I would just keep it enabled for left click. As for right click, I would leave it off, as this would probably cause a lot of misclicks. However, if this rapid trigger feature does not sound relevant to you or in your game at all, you can just entirely disable rapid trigger. Overall, whichever of these hit settings you do end up choosing, just make sure to practice with them in a deathmatch first so you can get like a proper feel for them. Moving on, we've got the assignments tab. Now there's not much really to say about this tab apart from this is where you can reassign whatever a button on the mouse does. So if you want like your side buttons to do a specific action, you can just rebind it inside of here. Next, we've got the scroll wheel tab. This is where you'll see this BHOP mode, and this is to prevent unintentional jumps caused by accidentally bumping the scroll wheel. So this feature may benefit you if you're someone who binds jump to their scroll wheel. If not though, just leave this setting off. Then finally, I want you to go to the bottom left where you will see device settings. Then go into game and surface mode. This is where you can collaborate the mouse sensor specifically to your mouse pad, which is something I recommend keeping on as it helps the sensor track more accurately to your specific surface. I would only recommend turning this off if you are having any sort of like sensor issues like spinouts or anything. Apart from that though, you should just keep it on. After that though, if you click on the onboard mode, you want to go ahead and turn this setting on, then click the three dots, select import G Hub profile and select the profile we've been working on in this video. This will save everything, like all the settings, directly onto the mouse itself. Just after that, make sure to go on to the main device menu and confirm it's actually saved by looking for that blue chip icon. Once you've done that, you can close out of G Hub completely. The mouse will remember every single setting we just configured. And yeah, that's hopefully everything. You have now set up your Superstrike to perform at its full potential. Please let me know what settings you ended up using, and before you do go, feel free to check out any of my other videos on screen right now.